Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer. We're basically going on a true crime scene investigation of the natural world today, looking at the ultimate mystery of a vanishing plant. Throughout this explainer, we're going to look really closely at some photographic evidence to figure out how a lush green habitat gets systematically dismantled piece by piece. We'll analyze the suspects, their tools, their methods, and the absolute devastation they leave behind. And as you're going to see, our culprit today just happens to be one of nature's most famous celebrities. So, our investigation kicks off with a really simple but honestly urgent question. Who exactly is eating all these leaves? You know the feeling, right? You walk out to a plant in your garden and find half of its foliage just completely chewed away in a matter of days. It naturally sparks a bit of a mystery. We have to find our culprit. And well, as we'll see, they aren't exactly trying to hide from us. And here they are, our primary suspect caught absolutely red-handed, or actually, scratch that, green-handed, right in the middle of a bite. This gorgeous but super destructive little creature is none other than the iconic monarch caterpillar, dining on its absolute favorite meal, the milkweed plant. Look at those vivid black, yellow, and white bands wrapping around one of nature's most famous transformers. It's just resting effortlessly on the jagged edge of a leaf that it's been tearing into. You can literally see the distinct semicircular bite marks left behind all along the edge. This isn't just random damage, folks. It's highly systematic consumption. Section 1. Anatomy of a crawler. Let's look at their built-in toolkits. These suspects come equipped with some seriously specialized feeding gear. First up, we've got those repeating black, yellow, and white bands. And that's not just a bold fashion choice, it acts as a bright warning system to predators, saying, hey, I'm highly toxic, which is all thanks to the poisonous milkweed they eat. Next, you'll notice the long, dark antenna-like tentacles on both the front and back, which probably help them sense their environment as they navigate around the plant. Throw in those specialized gripping legs and heavily segmented body structure, and you've got a creature with the incredible flexibility needed to just contort around any leaf or stem. I mean, just look at how these tiny, almost microscopic front legs wrap so firmly around a totally bare stalk. It shows off incredible grip and balance. Their segmented bodies allow them to curve perfectly along the contour of the stem, basically defying gravity. This is an insect entirely engineered to navigate, climb, and hold on to this specific type of plant life, even when all the broad, flat leaves are completely gone. Section 2, the voracious appetites. Time to talk about the eating itself. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the staggering contrast between a solitary eater and a whole group. On one side, we have our single eater just contentedly munching on a healthy green leaf. Honestly, it looks like a minor, totally manageable issue for the plant. But look at the other side. When you multiply that single appetite by dozens, you don't just get a few more holes in the leaves. You get widespread, catastrophic defoliation of the entire plant structure. The green leafy part is entirely replaced by stripped, empty scaffolding. Section 3. A crowded habitat. The scale of this invasion is just overwhelming. We're talking dozens of insects distributed across almost every visible branch. From the lowest leaves all the way down by the soil, straight up to the highest reaching stems, they are everywhere. The sheer density of the swarm occupying the single host plant is staggering. They aren't just, visiting this plant for a quick snack. They have completely colonized it. And as their numbers grow, the environment physically changes. Notice how, as the broadleaves rapidly vanish into their stomachs, these bare vertical green stalks take on a whole new purpose. They turn into crowded highways. You can see the caterpillars using these stripped stems to aggressively search for their next meal, totally bypassing the areas they've already decimated so they can climb higher and higher in search of untouched green foliage. This right here is a high-density feeding frenzy. Now, to put this into perspective, to fuel their impending metamorphosis, these caterpillars can eat up to 200 times their birth weight in just 2 weeks. 200 times! They're rapidly turning the remaining leaves into jagged, skeletal remnants right before our eyes. You can see leaves chewed down almost to the central vein. The intense competition for food is just supercharging the destruction. Which brings us to Section 4, the disappearing plant. When we synthesize all the visual evidence we've covered so far, a pretty clear picture emerges. So, the crucial point is this. We're no longer looking at individual insects acting independently. We are looking at a relentless, coordinated eating machine. Their physical adaptations, combined with those massive numbers and a single-minded drive to consume, literally turn them into an unstoppable force against this specific plant. And here is the aftermath of that swarm. Totally bare stems sticking out like barren poles. Just days, maybe even hours before this, lush leaves were growing from those exact spots. Now, nothing remains but the primary scaffolding of the plant. The caterpillars are left hanging off stems that offer absolutely zero nutritional value anymore, searching desperately for whatever scraps might be left hidden in the folds. Up at the very top of the plant, a pretty tense scene unfolds. They are practically climbing all over one another, fighting for space and access to the last remaining scraps of green foliage. The plant has been almost entirely exhausted as a food source, and you can really sense a gentle yet very real suspense about their fate. They are rapidly running out of runway. And that leaves us with one final provocative thought to wrap up our investigation. We've watched them arrive, we've seen their incredible physical tools, and we've witnessed the absolute destruction of their leafy home. But look at this stripped landscape they've created. What happens when the very last leaf is gone? Where do they go? How do they survive? It's a fascinating cliffhanger in the natural life cycle of these voracious creatures, and it's a question that invites you to keep exploring the incredible wonders happening right in your own backyard.